As the industry turns its attention to Cannes 2026, we are pleased to be joined with us Lulu Raghavan, President APAC at Landor, and the jury member of the design category at Cannes 2026. So, Lulu, thank you for joining us with Impact Magazine.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Isha.
All right. So, design at Cannes celebrates work as strategic as it is beautiful. Before you enter the jury room, what is that one quality you believe truly great design cannot win without?
It's got to be craft.
Okay.
Of course, the idea is important. The results are important. But so much is in the execution, which is the craft of design. When I look at the more than 280 entries that I judged and start to see which are rising to the top, it's evident that the quality of the craft plays a huge role. So that's something that will be top of mind.
Okay. And from an APAC perspective, are there any design trends or cultural influences that you're particularly excited to see at Cannes this year?
One of the things I've noticed is that laborious work is coming back. I don't want to talk about entries that I remember to avoid bias. However, there are some from APAC countries where hours and hours and hours of doing something created the beauty of it. And I think many of the traditions that we have in our APAC countries lend themselves well to those kind of executions in the future. So the craftsmanship that we have, let's say in embroidery or in particular textile manufacturing methods, etc. There's just such a plethora of arts and crafts that we can draw from. And I'm seeing that. I don't want to say it's a trend, but I saw it in quite a few entries. And I'm quite excited for those to win, and I hope they do.
Okay, great. India has made significant strides in design across branding, packaging, and digital. Where do you think we are doing especially well, and where do you think we still have room to grow?
So India punching its above its weight, I would say, in areas where there's cultural depth that's required, because there's just so much we can draw on from our culture that creates beautiful brand identity work, where perhaps more of the rigor is required in brand systems. I see a lot of brands that are good in one or two touch points, but sometimes the Instagram shelf and the real shelf, there's a big chasm there, right? So that brand systems thinking is important. Also, the Western markets, there's a lot of depth when it comes to research, semiotics, true immersion in the category, in the consumer, where the briefs are very well written before design is even started. I think there we're still maturing and have a way to go.
Okay, fair enough. Which areas of design line are you most excited to judge this year, and why?
The one that I found the most difficult, but the one I'm also most excited by, is design for behavioral change.
Okay, interesting.
Right? And there's so much in health and wellness, in sustainability. What are those nudges that you can give to consumers to actually change their behavior, to make them stop, to make them think, to make them actually change their course of action? Right. And I've seen some entries which do a remarkable job of addressing that. And I'm very excited to see the discussion in the jury room on how we're actually going to judge this, because each of these behavioral nudges seems so important, so effective. So then judging them all in the same with the same criteria will be an interesting discussion.
Okay, all right. And we are seeing more Indian representation on Cannes jury this year. What does that mean for the industry in that view?
I used a word earlier in our chat, which is bias. I do think in the past, there were certain regions of the world which were overrepresented in terms of judging for the world. And often some of the entries need a cultural context to be fully understood. So I think it's very responsible it's extremely important that jurors from APAC countries, including India, have that responsibility to be unbiased.
Right.
The one thing we should avoid is just because we are from the region that we very subtly push our work forward. I think, again, that's bringing in a bias. There's more representation now to fix that uneven representation from the past, but we need to truly be unbiased in the service of the work.
Okay. And how excited or nervous are you for the jury?
A little bit of both. Of course, I'm excited. It's a huge honor to be there. It's a privilege to immerse in hours and hours of seeing the best design work from around the world. But I'm also a little bit nervous because this jury is going to select the 2026 shortlist and all of the winners. And we have a responsibility to showcase the best of design, showcase what's coming in the future. So maybe nervous is not the right word, but anxious to see how it'll play out. Because in a jury room where you have the president and 15 people with diverse perspectives, sometimes the decision can be quite controversial. Not everyone would agree. It will go on. Arriving at a list of winners that we all feel represents the best in design and represent what's coming in the future will be tough.
Fair enough.
But I am looking forward to that.
Congratulations for being on the jury.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.